All right, well, let's talk about our stay at Drury Plaza Hotel over at Disney Springs.
Okie
So
dokie.
this hotel just opened. It opened actually on the 7th, Wednesday the 7th, and we stayed there on December 9th through the 11th. So it was been open for 2 days.
And it was pretty dead the whole time we were there. There was not a lot of people there.
It wasn't a ton. It was.
No.
I mean, we pulled up. I think the bell services guy was like excited to see somebody there.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah, he was excited. Do you want to tell the story about our luggage?
Well, I mean, one bunch of story. We pulled up and we parked. We kind of sat there in the porte cochere, went in, checked in, and then I just grabbed a cart to unload the car. And then he said, "Oh, this cart has to stay with him or something." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So he helped me. He goes, "Well, I'll help you load it up." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So he loaded up and like took us up to the room, unloaded it and everything. And I went to give him a tip, and he like wouldn't take it. He's like, no, I didn't do it for that. And I was like, no, I understand, but you helped me like carry all my stuff. And like he like literally wouldn't take it. And I was like, okay. Like I was like, well, all right.
Thanks,
so,
man.
Yeah. So they were very nice guy.
Yeah.
They're just. I think a lot of it. I think he just wanted something to do as well.
He
was a really nice guy, and I will say, the hotel just opened, but the staff, I can say unequivocally, the whole time was great. They were always
amazing.
attentive and very. They interacted with the kids really well.
Oh yeah.
If you need like the cleaning staff, they were super nice.
They were very nice.
You'd see them in the hallways and. Even walking through, they're like, "Do you need anything?" And I'm like,
"Yeah,
I don't think so." And they're like, "Okay."
Anytime we walked past the front desk, they were always like, "Hi, good morning, good afternoon." There was always like 5 of them back there, and they were all just like really happy to see us.
I mean, obviously they had just opened, but the staff was great. So it wasn't super busy by any means, but so the brand new hotel. It used to be a Best Western. Was it Best Western Lake Buena Vista?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just talk briefly on this. So it used to be Best Western until it closed in 2020 and it never reopened. And I think, I'm not sure exactly if they closed because of the pandemic or they didn't reopen because of it. I'm not sure, but they did sell it to Drury. And then Drury's like, well, okay, we're going to put our own hotel in there, obviously. So what they did was they took out, So when you're looking at Drury Plaza as it is right now, you'll see there's 2 sections to it. On the right side is the brand new section that they just built. Like I'll call that Tower 2. And then the left side you have Tower 1, which is the existing Best Western Tower.
Right.
So there's the Tower 1, Tower 2. Tower 2 did not exist. It was just Tower 1. And in front of Tower 1 was like a porte cochere where you would go in and check in. And that was just the only part. Those are the only rooms that were there. So they just took out a side of the Tower 1 and just attached Tower 2 to it. And they moved the porte cochere. So like it's an interesting setup. Like when it's all done, I'm sure it's going to look really nice, which I guess what you mentioned, by the way, Tower 1, the renovated, part of the old Best Western is not finished.
Yeah. So the hotel is still under construction. And we should say we were supposed to stay here in October.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ready yet. So it got pushed back to December. So this has been pushed. It got delayed a little bit, seemingly that they're still working on it as well. But you couldn't hear any of the construction going on when we were there.
No, I think, I don't know what has left to do.
I'm not really sure.
All we know is when we were looking around the hotel inside, there were a lot of places where it says, pardon our dust. We're still working on it. So we couldn't even go into the Tower 1 area. They were still working on that.
Which I think a lot of the areas where they're going to have convention stuff.
Yeah.
Well.
So they're going to have 10 meeting rooms, 17,000 square feet of space, ballrooms, outdoor terrace in the convention side, which we kind of saw a little bit. And there also will be rooms, and these rooms I think they all have balconies.
Okay.
Whereas Tower 2, if you notice, did not have any balconies.
Yes, I did notice that.
So I don't know the price point difference with that. I don't know yet since it's not ready yet, but we can just kind of go by what we know.
Yeah.
But location-wise, it's 2000 Hotel Plaza Boulevard, which is right across from B Resort and Spa.
Yeah, so it's about a half-mile walk, to Disney Springs. So if you're going to walk there, it's probably about a 15-minute walk, I'd say, in total. And it is one of the Disney Good Neighbor hotels, so you do have the extra benefits like some of the other hotels don't have. But the main one being early theme park entry every day. So you do have that when you stay here. So that's a nice perk.
That's a big perk. And someone asked me if the walk is I don't know if it's a dangerous or like a lot.
Are you crossing a lot of streets?
You're
and stuff
not.
Like that? You're not.
No, you're staying on the same side of the street as the hotel, and there's a sidewalk the whole way there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the point where you have to cross the street, there's a pedestrian bridge that you just go over. So you don't have to cross any streets when you're over there.
And location wise, I mean, you're super close to. I mean, it's like a 10-minute drive to any of the parks.
Oh yeah, really. It's very close.
So it's I would actually say. And we can talk about the very end. This one, our Flamingo Crossing's kind of been our go-to offsite hotel place. This one in that area kind of rivals in terms of like location-wise. Not too bad. So that's something we can discuss at the end.
Okay.
But so in this one, there are 604 rooms. And there are queen rooms, king rooms, and suites. And we stayed in a suite.
We did. We stayed in a king suite. So I guess let's talk about our room because it has an interesting kind of layout.
Yeah, the layout in this, if I'm being honest, I wasn't a huge fan of. Okay. Well, not the layout. I think maybe the main issue was like the lack of window in the front room. So when you walk into it, you've got your living area. So you've got your, there's a couch that pulls out into a bed. You've got a coffee table. You have your counter with your refrigerator,
like the kitchenette
microwave,
area.
TV, all that there, and then you go down the hallway, and then you get your bathroom on the left, and then which the bathroom was nice. It was updated, had the mirrors with the lights in them, walk-in glass shower.
Yeah, this is all the brand new building, so it's all brand new.
There's another sink out in the hallway, and then you go down, and there's the back bedroom there was where obviously the king bed is back there. There was a window back there, but that was the only window in the entire hotel room. So the front room, a little dark. Yeah, it's just a long room.
It's just not how it's a square or anything.
Yeah, it's just how it's laid out. And just me being a person, I really like natural light. So for me, it seemed really dark.
I felt like it was a basement. It was like my mom's basement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where there's no windows.
And it wasn't that the room layout was bad. I mean, it had plenty of room and it was, everything like that. It's just that part of it for me personally, how I prefer things. I felt like it was just, it seemed a little like, just like you're in a basement a little bit.
Now, if it had the window in that room, it would have been just perfect because the wet bar kitchenette area had a huge TV right above it.
It did, yeah.
So the TV was giant, like I said. Had like a L-shaped couch, and that was where the pull-out was. And did she say? I don't think we asked her. Did she say it was comfortable or not? I mean, she's 6.
I laid on it. It wasn't bad for a pull. I mean, it was a new couch, so it definitely had a new thing in there. So it wasn't for being a pull-out couch. That's not a Murphy bed type like a Disney. It was fairly comfortable. I think she slept pretty good. And we had plenty of room for the pack and play for our son.
Yep.
So space was not an issue at all.
Not at all.
The fridge was a little small.
It was small.
I will say
it was a cooler. It was a cooler.
It was smaller than even the ones at Disney, so that's usually something. But it did have a microwave, which is nice.
Yes. The microwave, sink,
coffee stuff. But I never make coffee in the hotel rooms because it's just usually not very good. But I would recommend we always bring a cooler anyways. I would recommend in a room like this, bring your own cooler if you're going to keep stuff in there because like we have, we keep stuff like drinks or stuff for the kids. You're not going to fit much in that fridge. So especially if you had like leftovers and things like that, you're not going to have hardly room. So probably having a spare cooler in here would not be a terrible idea. You just obviously put ice in it and things like that. But
but like the bathroom. Let's talk about the bathroom a little bit. So in the bathroom, there's just one sink, but like you said, there's an outside sink, like outside of the bathroom,
which was kind of weird. I mean, it was nice having the extra sink, but it was. I feel like it was a strange place to put an extra sink. I think in most hotels I've seen in that area be maybe a place to put luggage. Or,
I see.
Not that it was bad. It was just odd. You're just like, but I get it. Like, it's nice having an extra sink where the kids could brush their teeth there, stuff like that.
I actually didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was fine. Like, I was like, oh, this is nice to have.
It wasn't that it was bad. I just wasn't expecting it. Yeah. It's just not, I don't think that's something you normally see in a room of that layout.
So I didn't see, like, obviously I didn't physically see a 2 queen suite. Like, we have obviously the king suite. The 2 queen suite would sleep 6. So I'm guessing with a 6-person suite, having that second sink is really going to be valuable.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I can totally see how it would be a good idea with those for sure. But the bathroom was a decent size. It was pretty big.
Yeah.
The shower. Do you want to talk about the shower and the
Well, this is the same
glass door?
shower that they had at when we stayed.
Residence Inn?
Was it Residence Inn? I think it was Residence Inn. So it's a walk-in. It, by the way, looks absolutely beautiful. So it's a walk-in shower, glass, it's tile, all that stuff. Great. The issue I have with it is it's one of those where it doesn't slide. It probably has an opening to get in. I would say 3 feet wide, 4 feet wide.
Yeah, 4 feet.
So like when I take a shower, I like everything closed off. I don't like to feel a breeze. I don't like the wind. I've always been that way. Like if it's one of those that's got a shower curtain, I'll seal up the ends, or obviously if you're in a walk-in shower, you pull it shut. So for me personally, these look really pretty. I don't like them in execution because I always feel when I'm in the shower like I'm getting a breeze coming in.
Yeah.
But that's really it's not a huge deal, obviously, because it's just a shower in your hotel room. But that was the only really complaint I had about it. They had the pumps like Disney does for the shampoo, conditioner, body wash.
It had a beachy scent to it.
Yeah. I mean, and the shower was fine. I mean, it was brand new, everything. So it's not like it was an old shower head or bad water pressure. So it was
great.
That was all good.
It worked fine.
Yeah, no complaints. I mean, that's the only thing I would say is just I'm not the biggest fan of that type of walk-in shower, but that's just sort of a personal preference. I'd probably say so.
Yep. Let's talk about the bedroom. So king bed, lots of outlets, lots of USB ports.
It did. They had each side had its own little thing that had 2 plugins for power outlets, and it had 2 or 3 USB ports, and even had a USB-C port in each one as well. I think there were 3 or 4 of those in the entire bedroom itself.
There's one on the desk,
and there's
for
one
sure.
on each side.
On each side, yeah.
So it had plenty of those, which is nice. You have that
because we have so many electronics.
We do have a few
every day.
It had a TV, had a dresser, which everything in there again was new.
It was granite. The countertops were granite.
They were granite. Yeah, had plenty of space. I will say the view we had was not the best. It was just a view of the pool, and you could see the Disney Springs off in the distance a little bit.
It wasn't a bad view.
What a bad view. Just we had the roof right below in our eye line.
We were on the 3rd floor.
So if you were up a little higher, might be a little bit better.
Yeah.
It wasn't, again, it is what it is, not terrible.
It was the first floor. It was the lowest floor with rooms. Because the 2nd floor is other stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Which I'm guessing the upper floors may not even been ready. Because I don't think anybody was going to the upper floors.
I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. I just know that, there was a lot of people staying there and they had enough room. So
yeah. One thing I will say about this room that was not the best was the bed.
Unfortunately, one thing that is important to us when staying in a hotel is comfortable beds. We have found that the one at Drury, it was hard. It was a hard bed. The sheets were very scratchy. They were they needed to be washed, or I don't know if it's just new sheets.
They
I don't
almost
know.
seemed like they were new and they'd never been washed.
That's what I'm saying.
They were just rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue is our bed at home is really, really comfortable.
It's so comfortable.
And so when we stay at the places, they just tend not to be as comfortable.
There's some beds
there's some
Disney beds aren't bad.
Especially in the refurbed rooms, the Disney ones are not bad. I will say Disney beds are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Universal beds are kind of hit and miss, but the newer ones are usually a bit better. This one, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't like a horrible bed. It just was not as comfortable as what I'm used to. I mean, for instance, if I sleep in it, I woke up one of the days, my back was sore from it, which it happened. So that's the only thing I would say. The bed wasn't the most comfortable in the world, but I don't know. Sometimes with beds just kind of hit and miss with that stuff.
Yeah. I will say this room had carpet except for in front of the bathroom and the bathroom itself. I'm not a big fan of carpet, but seeing as how we were the first people to stay in the room, I was okay with it.
I'm guessing we were the first. Yeah.
It's great. This is fine.
It wasn't lived in, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the room, I don't think. Obviously it slept 4 and we had 4.
I mean, we weren't in the room a ton because we were out doing a lot of stuff in the park. So it gave us enough room. Our kids could sleep in the front room. We slept in the room by ourselves. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it was nice because you had your own space. So
Well, we tend to look for these suite type rooms whenever we bring our children, which is most of the time. It just works better for our family. So we like to review these and stay in them just to see how it'd be for even bigger families or those that just need more space, which is what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about, as part of staying at Drury, which is an interesting thing, is the amenities here are very unique. And I was unaware of these until we stayed here, of all the things you get here. So part of the amenities, you have the kitchen. It's called Kitchen Plus Bar, but it's kitchen
and bar.
Yeah, and that's what the sign says.
Bar.
But I think it's just kitchen and bar. It's not really a fancy name. It's very much is what it is. It's in the lobby. They have a kitchen and a bar. You can just get drinks or some food. I mean, that's the name of it. Kitchen plus sign bar. So there you go.
Right.
There is a lakeside bar and grill as well.
Right outside. That's the pool bar.
Which I'm sure they share a kitchen.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They
so
go right there.
Literally just probably catty corner to each other.
Yep.
There's a pool with a splash pad.
And the pool was a decent size. Like, it wasn't too bad. And it had a good, nice, view because it overlooks, Disney Springs.
It had that fountain behind it too, before you see Disney Springs. And then the splash area, I didn't see anybody using it. It wasn't the warmest when we were there. So that's another thing too. But the splash area for kids did actually look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say our kids, if it was in the middle of the summer, they would have used it, and I'm sure they would have loved it.
Absolutely.
Here's the unique thing about when you're staying at Drury is they do have free breakfast, which is not crazy because a lot of places have that. But they have something called a kickback. And this is a 5:30 kickback where it's free. I wouldn't say dinner, kind of like finger foods, but it's around dinner time. So 5:30 to 7:30, you have small plate type stuff, and then you also each person gets a ticket when you check in. So Jamie and I both, you get 3 drinks each night, and these are alcoholic drinks. They have their own bar back there, so you can go there and get beer, wine, mixed drinks, things like that, and 3 per night. So, which it's interesting. And then they also have popcorn and soda from 4 to 8 p.m. as well. You can go in there. They had a popcorn machine, get your own, and then they had fountain drinks with it wasn't like a freestyle machine, but it was like Diet Coke, stuff like that. You can get juices, things like that.
When we were there, so we had the 5:30 kickback on one of the nights. And the night that we were there, they had meatballs and gravy, mashed potatoes, and then everything else that they usually have. They had they had a vegetable soup as well. Everything, they always have a salad. They always have hot dog buns. They always have chips and salsa. That's always standard. They just change up the, I guess, entree and the side. So on Tuesdays, they have barbecue sliders and baked beans, baked potatoes, and also chicken noodle soup. So it changes up, but I feel like it's enough food to have a meal.
So it was pretty solid.
I legit think so. Yeah.
Yeah. The mashed potatoes were pretty good. The meatballs were very equivalent to what if you've ever had them at IKEA. I think they were very equivalent to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Yeah, it was. I would say you could easily make this dinner, and then with the drinks as well. I mean, it's a really nice value. And again, this is included, so it's basically like getting club level just included into your room. So there's nothing extra with this. It's just on the second floor. You go upstairs, and it's there's plenty of seating in there, tons of seating. It is
huge. Yeah, there is a huge amount of space and tables.
And again, in here, the staff was great. I mean, we were sit there and got stuff for the kids, and when we were done, they would come by and be like, "Hey, I'll get your plate for you." They, you basically they would do it all for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the food was solid. I mean, the breakfast food they had were eggs, eggs, bacon, sausage, biscuits and gravy. They did have a pancake station where they would make fresh pancakes, put them out there for you as well. Oatmeal. I'm probably missing something here.
Fresh fruit, bagels.
Yeah,
muffins,
yogurt and stuff, cereal, milk on the sides.
Yeah,
I actually felt like the eggs were. I feel like the breakfast food was better than most of the free breakfasts that I've had at hotels. I think the eggs were a little bit better. I think the sausage was a little bit better.
Well, I'm thinking about Homewood Suites or Home 2 Suites over at Flamingo.
Yeah.
I'm just comparing those
I think
two.
it was better than those.
I think definitely.
Because I think the thing that those do, and now granted they don't do here, which I was okay with this, though, is those other hotels will do the Mickey waffles.
Waffles. Mm-hmm.
And those are kind of like the showpiece of it because, again, I'm sure the kids, because they love it and things like that. This one, I think the food was better. I'm sure they were still powdered eggs, but they tasted much better. The biscuits and gravy were actually good. Like the biscuits.
That's
our
what you said, yeah.
daughter actually ate the biscuits as well. They weren't super dry. Like that's usually get biscuits and gravy at a free hotel breakfast. It's going to be like, you got to have a pick and a hammer to like get them apart and things like that. So food was all really good.
Yeah.
So I mean,
no complaints.
It was, and honestly, I would say with this being included, it made it a really great value having that as part of it.
A great value in fact that we didn't need to try Kitchen and Bar or the Lakeside Bar and Grill because there's so much free food.
Yeah, I was gonna try it one of the nights we got back. I wasn't the night before our last day there. I wasn't feeling the best that night, and I just ended up going to bed. I was gonna go to the bar and get some food to try it out, but I just went to bed early that night. But
if you'd ever stay here though, just know that in the morning and in the evening you will have food you can have. That's free.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the family, of 4. That could save you a couple $100 in meals if you wanted to save some money.
Yep.
Eat at the hotel and not have to go eat out. Not that you may still want to go eat out, but maybe you can just do that. Save yourself some money.
Yep. They had also have the marketplace. There's like a grab and go area that's in the lobby. That's just like chips and cookies and sodas. And
they had coffee. Well, they did have free coffee all over the place. I will say that too. They had coffee that you could just grab like upstairs in the food area. They had coffee off to the side where they had the little near the arcade, and there's sort of like a concierge area there as well. So they had a lot of stuff you could just get kind of all the time as well.
Yeah, that was nice. And then I'm confused about this because it's advertised that they have one, but I did not see one. And that's the Pizza Hut Express.
So on the menu, it said all the pizza was coming soon. I saw no signage for it anywhere.
Do you think it's in the first tower that's still under construction?
It's possible. I don't know. I didn't see any signage for it. They had, if you looked at the menu for the bar and grill area, it would show pizza, but it was grayed out and it said not available right now.
Okay.
So I don't really know about that, but I know they will have pizza. I don't know if it's Pizza Hut Express, but they will have pizza.
Okay.
It just wasn't available at that time when we did it.
Fair enough.
Also, the 24-hour fitness center, which is actually a really good size. So the area for the fitness center was big. It was just your typical. It had I think maybe it only had 4 machines.
And this is on the second floor too, right?
Yes. Yeah. When you wrap around, when you go past the food area.
Yeah.
It had dumbbells up to 35 pounds, mostly cardio equipment. So it was a big area. It depends on, obviously you do cardio equipment really easily, but it did have a workout facility in there that had water and towels and things like that you can get. But yeah,
arcade.
It did have an arcade, actually a pretty good size arcade with pretty brand new games. We were busy enough. Usually our kids would want to go in there, but we were busy enough that
we kind of ran out of time.
We did a little bit, but it was it was. I would probably say it's equivalent to like the Disney value ones, maybe a little smaller than those. But I would say as arcades go, it was, I think if it was like one of those, you had nothing to do, go down there and hang out. It had like a brand new basketball game you could play, which I kind of wanted to do, if I'm being honest. But
sorry about that.
I didn't get to do it, so yeah.
Cats and dogs are accepted. They do take pets. You do have to pay $40 per room per night.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, though.
Yeah.
So
they did have a free shuttle service to Disney, but the way this works is you had to reserve basically 2 hours in advance.
You can go to the website to do it, or there's a QR code that you can scan that's set up in the lobby.
Yeah, jurybus.com is where you would go to do that. It's scheduled. You can ask for that week's schedule when you check in as well.
And the schedule is staggered, so you're not going to have all the buses there at once. And so like the Magic Kingdom one, and some people were curious about this. So the Magic Kingdom one, they'll take you to the TTC and pick you up there as well. All the other ones go to the actual parks. So I know some hotels will take you to TTC for Epcot as well, but Drury doesn't. They take you directly to Epcot, which is kind of nice. And then Disney Springs they drop you off behind Cirque du Soleil, the old Cirque du Soleil building. Yeah. So,
I mean, technically you could stay here and not have to have a car. It's not as convenient as staying in a Disney hotel, but their shuttle service is good enough to where you could get by without having to do that. And you're also close enough too. I mean, depending on the kids' ages, Lyft and stuff like that's always an option as well. Given everything's 10 minutes away, it wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah, and the shuttles, just FYI, they start picking up an hour and a half before the park opens, and an hour and a half after is their last pickup. So it's a good amount of time. And I will say Disney Springs schedule, if you ever stay here, they won't take you to Disney Springs until like 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't bring you back, or no pickups are available to take you back to the hotel until like 4:30.
Oh, okay.
So if you choose not to walk, those are just kind of the parameters you're looking at.
But walking wise wouldn't be bad, really.
Walking wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Nope, it wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah.
So there are some people that were curious about that, but since it's free and it is scheduled, you just have to reserve it. It should be pretty easy to use. Did we see a lot of people using the shuttles? We did not.
But again, there weren't that many people staying here during
Right.
that time. So the buses I felt like you could have walked up to the buses and they would have just taken us. I feel like
probably.
They were just sitting there waiting.
Sure.
I really felt like at one point I was like, can we just hop on? They probably wouldn't even ask any questions.
Probably.
But, yeah. So if you do have a car, the parking here is $25 per day, which, not the best, but whatever. Most hotels do it.
But it doesn't have what?
It doesn't have a resort fee.
No resort fee. I think all of the resorts around Disney Springs have a resort fee.
Yeah, which I'm surprised because there's so many extra things included, which I was nice to see that they didn't.
I know. I think they make up for it in their price.
Well, I'm sure.
Per room.
But I would rather do that than have resort fees anyways. I think that's just an annoying way to do it.
I agree.
But
I agree.
They do have special rates for Florida residents, Disney APs, stuff like that. So you can always inquire about that. So the price range on this, so the weekend we stayed, the standard rooms were what?
No, this coming weekend.
Sorry,
I took
this coming
a sample.
weekend. Okay.
The standard rooms start at about $177 per night. And for the king, I think the king room, whatever. And then for the suites, it started about $250.
Okay.
So these are more expensive for suites. These are more expensive than the ones you'd say at like Flamingo Crossing. But you are closer to Disney. You're right there next to Disney Springs. And you just still have the amount of room. It's a newer hotel. So, there's a lot of give and take, like what you get versus what you give kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
depending on your location and stuff. So decent prices. Now, if you're looking into the spring, you are going to see some higher pricing, obviously. Because again, suites are they're real popular.
Well, it makes sense. It depends on the value. $250 for a suite is more expensive, but if you're looking at staying at Disney, you're not going to be able to get a suite for anything under like $400 or more. Yeah. So it just depends. But with this one, I would say it is a bit more expensive. But if you plan on utilizing the extra amenities that you do get, I think you can easily make an argument that this would actually save you money in the long run and being that close. So if you're like, okay, we're going to take advantage of breakfast and we're going to take advantage of, the kickback with the 5:30 and get the drinks and all that stuff like that. I feel like, if you're staying there for 3 or 4 nights and you did that instead of going, eating at Disney around there, you would easily save into the hundreds of dollars being outside your family. So I can see that argument there for sure. But all right, anything else you want to mention about the room or amenities or anything like that?
Gosh, I think that's all we experienced, really.
We did most of it.
I guess we could talk about like the decor and stuff. We didn't really mention that in the lobby.
Yeah, it was very modern.
It was really pretty.
They had some unique furniture, some chairs that were not comfortable at all. They were like vertical backs, but they were super tall. Like our kids. One thing with that kids, you could easily, like, our kids left toys we had to go find in there. It was almost like a maze.
It was kind of
It was interesting. It wasn't bad. It was very modern.
I thought it was chic. I liked it.
It was kind of chic. It definitely seemed more upscale. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, it was like a nice like wood color. Like the tile was nice. The light fixtures were very contemporary looking.
Yeah.
Almost like Asian contemporary, if that's a look.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, like very obviously it's brand new, so
it's a brand new hotel. Everything was really nice. And on that end of things, it was good. And again, the staff was great. That was one of the best parts. I don't see any reason as to why that would tail off. I'm sure, when something opens, everyone's excited, and I'm sure management was there, but
their opening team.
Yeah, sure. But the staff and everything for our stay there, which I would like to stay here again maybe in a few months to see if that's still the case, but they were great, all the time. Every time we would come in there and they interacted with the kids really well, and
Yep.
like all of them. So I thought it, and they were, just very friendly. So I thought that part was great as well. So,
Yes.
what would you give it? Off property, comparing this to Flamingo Crossing hotels, which is sort of our go-to. How would you rate this as a scale of 1 to 10, and where does it fall with the Flamingo Crossing hotels?
So, being how it's a little bit farther away than some other Disney Springs hotels, but the price was maybe a little bit less. Plus, what you get, all that free food.
Mm-hmm.
That free food is a big perk.
Yeah.
I would give this on a scale of 1 to 10. You said.
Yeah.
I would give this for an off-property hotel.
In its category.
In its category, I give it an 8.
Okay. I was leaning. I would say an 8, 8.5 in my head.
Okay.
I think it was. I enjoyed it. I think the things that would help it out a lot. I think the bed was more comfortable. I think the room wasn't so dark. Maybe there's other rooms that are a little bit different. That was the only really complaint I had about the room. Was just, again, I'm a natural light type of person. But yeah, I mean the food, the amenities, we didn't get to really use it, but the pool area was really nice. The food area, would have liked to have experienced that more, but they had plenty of it. Yeah, I feel like if I was, it's an 8, 8.5. I think it was good. Now here's the question: if you had to pick, would you choose this over, say, Homewood Suites?
So Homewood Suites has a full kitchen.
It does.
These don't offer that. But there's also they have the free breakfast at Homewood.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have the kickback or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think Drury in the amenity section has a lot more to offer than the Flamingo Crossing hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was what I was concentrating on, that's what I was really going for, I'd be like, oh, I'm all about Drury. If I'm wanting to save a little bit more money, a little bit farther off, off property, is barely off property,
right?
But a little bit off property and not close to Disney Springs or not close to any of the parks, then I'd be okay with Flamingo Crossing. So it just depends on what I'm going for. If I'm going to Disney Springs a lot on this particular trip, then yeah, I'd pick Drury.
Yeah.
If it's a situation where I'm not going to be in the hotel a lot and Flamingo Crossing price point is good, then I would stay at Flamingo Crossing. You know what I mean? I think it would just depend on what kind of vacation I'm having or what I'm looking to do on that vacation. Because, like you said, I mean, if it's concentrated to just needing a place to sleep and needing something cheap, but also needing a bunch of room, Flamingo Crossing. If I want to be close to Disney Springs, I want that free shuttle because Flamingo Crossing doesn't have shuttles. Mm-hmm. If I want that free shuttle and all the amenities that goes with it, without the resort fee, I would pick Drury.
I think for me, in most cases, I would probably take Drury just because of the amenities extras.
Yeah. I
agree. I still love Homewood. I do like having the full kitchen. And the nice thing about Homewood, it kind of depends on when you do it. If you want to, actually, in my argument, I think if you want to save money, I would say Drury because everything's so much included. I think you end up saving money in the long run.
It may possibly.
Potentially.
Yeah, possibly.
Versus you staying over to Homewood and now they have all the, they got the Target, they got Five Guys, they got all the restaurants and stuff over there that are open now. Mm-hmm. So you would probably go eat out more in that area.
Well, I don't know though, because Drury, I mean, it's right, Hotel Plaza Boulevard, or Hotel Boulevard, whatever it's called, is right off of 535.
Yeah.
535 has a ton of stuff.
It's true. And it depends on if you've got a car and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset about staying in either one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I think you're probably right, though. It just depends on what kind of trip. If it was with our kids, it's a different trip versus just me and you, what you plan to do. So, yeah, I think it would depend. But I did enjoy Drury a lot. I thought it was really nice.
Me
and
too.
the funny thing is, there's a Drury that's in Springfield that's been there forever. And I never, you don't stay in hotels in the areas you live. But I always saw it, but I didn't, it wasn't until it was coming in and people was like, oh, yeah, those are really nice. And I was like, they are? I just didn't know. So it was kind of like finding a new, because I'm used to a Marriott and a Hilton and stuff like that. So it's nice to find this new chain that I was like, I enjoy this. So
Samesies.
That's
right.
All right. Well, that's our review of Drury hotels over there. So it gets our CTM recommends.
Absolutely.
Good hotel.
And we're going to keep staying at these Disney Springs hotels because we're trying to just kind of review all of them and let you guys know what we feel about them. Our next one on the list is DoubleTree, which is it's kind of across from Drury. It's kind of catty corner. It's a little bit farther away, but it is a Disney Springs hotel, and it is a suite hotel. So we will be staying there for the opening weekend of Festival of the Arts.
Yes.
So
and we do get a lot of questions. We probably get more questions about off-property hotels versus on-property. So we've been doing this anyway, but exploring the off-property. But if you do want to see actually more of our stay over here at Drury Hotels, we will have a vlog up on the YouTube channel, which right now we did the Grinchmas vlog is up. Jamie's Christmas party vlog just got up. That one's actually doing pretty well. And then, we're doing a lot more vlogs. So we have this one coming. We've got a bunch of Christmas ones on its way. So if you want to check out those, plus video versions of the show, go to the YouTube channel. Check it out.
Yeah, please.
I think they have handles now, so it's at Captain Magic on YouTube.
And subscribe.
Yes, subscribe, leave a comment, and it's also linked in the show notes.